Hello, my name is Luis Corral, and on behalf of my co-authors Ilenia Fronza, Xiaofei Wang, and Klaus Paul, I'm going to present you the paper titled Keeping the Fun Alive, an experience report of running online coding camps. Let's start with the presentation. The author teams of this paper, we have experience organizing and executing coding camps for high school students. In about 10 years, we have focused on preparing an extensive curriculum on introduction to software development with basic coding skills and basic software engineering practices. And we have targeted this practice to high school students in age span of 15 to 17 years. In these coding camps, we foster that the students acquire, consolidate, and deepen their knowledge, at times very basic on software development, and not only that part, that technical part, but also the social skills and the social experiences that are brought by working in a team that has a similar interest or that has a similar technical background that are growing in the similar capacity. So we try to create time-bounded, strongly collaborative experience. It's only 1 week, it's half a day, so it translates roughly to 20 hours, in which by collocating students in the same place, in the same classroom, and sharing learning objectives and sharing also a common goal of creating a product or getting a product done, we try to foster also a number of technical and social skills. We foster that this practice is open and inclusive, in which we don't target only technical schools or high schools with a strong technical background, but we also try to go to general purpose high schools, to liberal arts high schools, having a strong agenda on gender diversity and so on. So the environment of these camps is also open and inclusive. The thing is that, as all of us experienced in the previous years, COVID-19 brought us a very important challenge on preventing the opportunity of setting up this class and collocating it and having this traditional face-to-face interaction. But at the same time, we wanted to continue with this experience. We wanted to move on with the school and with the coding camps, taking these challenges and adapting and flexing what is necessary to maintain our technical goals, our technical foundations, and at the same time also keeping the social aspects, keeping the fun, and keeping the interactions that the experience of the coding camp brought. So COVID environment, or the general environment that the COVID-19 pandemic brought, made it very clear that working in a remote setting would require also additional self-learning and self-management skills, a great command of collaboration tools, and a proper atmosphere that will cultivate these personal and technical skills, merged together or brought together with the necessary technical collaboration tools. Cultivating these traits in an early career phase would also be beneficial not only for students but also the society in general, because also the productive sector, companies, industries, they pivoted also to this way of working remotely, and people in the working sector learn these abilities on the go, and nobody was an expert on working remotely in a general aspect. Of course, there was remote work and there was global work, but COVID make it a must, and making the some sort of like a basic skill that we all should have. So cultivating these abilities since an early stage of the education would be also beneficial for students and as they transition to college education and productive sector, and also to companies and employers, as the new employees will come equipped with a better tool set of remote collaboration and self-autonomy and other personal skills that the pandemic brought. So this is precisely the way that we don't want sessions to be like, where we can see people who call in and they are participating in the call, but they are not necessarily engaged with the content, and they are not participating actively by raising the hand or open up their cameras or engaging in the conversation. They're just there, but we don't even know if they are participating, or they just open the call and they are active in the call, but they are not doing anything related to that. So this is precisely the atmosphere and the environment that we want to avoid in this sort of experiences. And that really poses a challenge, because when you have all the class collocated in a single classroom, you have full control of what happens there. But when the class is distributed and everybody is in their homes, and you only see a small window with a name or with initials, or at times with a face, you don't have full control of what's happening there and in what way mesh all the experiences to look like the same one. So the main challenge that this environment poses on us is that the first perception is that the students had a low performance during this emergency in remote teaching. There's a couple of citations that accredited this assertion. Communication issues, as everything is done through tools, nothing is face-to-face. At times also students can feel isolated, and there is this perception on a lack of sense of belonging. Lack of engagement, as I said, the students may be there, but they are not participating. And the now famous Zoom fatigue, this feeling of being tired after prolonged computer use. And also an important challenge is to try to replicate the face-to-face dynamics that it is not easy. The class is not collocated. Everybody may have a different environment back home. And it is a challenge of instructors to try to look and feel the same experience, even if you are in a completely different environment. So with that, our idea, our proposal to create an online coding camp was to identify these challenges and see or identify also ways in which we can tackle these challenges without losing the point of creating the technical capacity or increasing the social skills, the collaboration skills, but now building on top of collaboration tools and without losing the fun. So let's see what was our setting in this aspect. As I said in the beginning of the presentation, we have experience working around 8 years in a face-to-face coding camp with a target audience of high school students with no knowledge on software development or very basic knowledge on software development. The age segment of this class is, as I said, around 15 years old, the way till 17 years old is people in the second stage of the high school, close to graduate and start college education. The goal of the coding camp is exposing participants to software engineering practices, mostly agile based, and also expose them to a number of technical tools that equip them with the possibility to create software products, in this case mobile software products based on Android or iOS. The schedule is 5 days, half a day, so it's roughly 20 hours, and we organize the students to work in teams of 3. Ensuring also diversity, not only gender diversity, but also background diversity and education diversity, so the teams can be as mixed as it can get. The instructional strategy is to merge different activities in a single journey, where we include games to break the ice, to exercise social skills. Of course, we have a technical curriculum that we have to cover. It's mostly practical. We share basics on software development or the structure of a computer program, but we also switch to the practical tools that are necessary. So the typical lecture interaction is ensured by this format, by having the structure on one side and all the students in the other one, but the social interaction between teams has to be assured by different techniques or different strategies. So we have games, we have activities, we have a social agenda there, and we try to make this very clear to students that participating in this social aspect of the course is as important as working in the technical content. In these editions of the coding camp that have been held fully online, we try to replicate the face-to-face dynamics by, as we say in the title of the paper, keeping the fun alive, in which we have flexed or we have adapted the traditional face-to-face activities into activities that can be executed fully remote, but at the same time they ensure that the social objective or the technical objective behind the activity is accomplished, and that the students are aware of the reason why they had this game or they had this interaction. That is to have fun, of course, is to get to know us more, is to have a better socialization, but there is also some background behind, or some intent behind, that also promotes or lays foundations on a social skill. What kind of things we have done or we have flexed in this online format? We promote teamwork and collaboration by encouraging the use of camera, encouraging the execution of games that motivate also the face-to-face interaction and the conversation. Also the idea that instructions are there to help. The event is mostly led by peers, so they know what they want to do or what they have to do, and also students are there. I mean, senior students who participated in the previous camp are there, so there is also this feeling of being led by a peer, by somebody in your same age segment and in your same with the same education, and instructors are there to facilitate. And we also leverage the power of block-based programming languages. Most of us, we are familiar with Scratch, for example, for children, but in this case we use Thunkable. That is a product that is based in the same principle of having blocks that they match each other, and they can be built in the form of a software product, as I said previously, a mobile application that creates also a sense of link or a sense of belonging on an age segment that is super used to user phones. What else? Introducing games, flexing games that we used to have before in the face-to-face version, but flexing and adapting them in a form that can be executed from different places, from anywhere that you are connected. So we make sure that the games are to be executed with material that is super easy to get, anything that you have in your house, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, and that also promote movement, exercise, walking around there, so we can also tackle that part of the fatigue of being right in front of the screen all the time. So we create games, or we promote games that also foster the fact that the students move around and look for hints or look for material and bring everything together, and they produce the outcome of the game. So, for example, we made them create a paper tower with any kind of piece of paper, and then measure out how tall they are, or create a color wheel with different objects that they have at home, looking for 30 random items that we tell them up front that let's try to find something red, something big, something useless. So that also exercises a lot of creativity and makes them move. And any kind of of games that can grab the attention of participants and can also promote their engagement in the general objectives of the course. What else we identify there? Having fun. Mm-hmm. The idea that the students not only get an instructional objective there, but they are also relaxed and socialize, and they make friends, and they exercise these sort of skills. A good understanding of the project. Everything here is to acquire a technical skills, and we don't have to lose that part of the goal. As I said previously, is in the form of mobile software projects that also they create a very good attachment with the kind of software that the students are used to are used to use, and also have a good understanding of the end-to-end software development process, even if in an introductory aspect, but still having a good command, a good idea of the process that typically and professionally software would take to be developed. The experience having the face-to-face versus the online coding camp is also remarkable to see that the online version extended the scope of the number of participants that we can host. In a collocated classroom, we have to be in a limit of about 40 participants. When it's online, we have almost 100 of them, as you can see there. The same age segment, the same diversity in terms of gender, background, and education. And as I also previously mentioned, the incorporation of student tutors, student mentors, that is people who already passed this class in previous years and they are still engaged and participating, and then they work in a peer-to-peer structure. Let's take a quick look on how this coding camp looks like to have a deeper glance on what is the experience that participants, peers, and instructors had in the last year. Some lessons that we learned from this experience is what was the perception on the fun and the social interactions that the student had. There is a number of testimonials that we collected in service and in interviews after the course. So we could see that elements that social interactions, time passing quickly, having fun, laughing, moving around the house were important remarks that the students are also voicing after the service that we run. In one of our goals that was having a particular focus on fun, we saw that the perception of the students was rather positive. Then in terms of the product, we collected our target software products from students from the teams that we organized in teams of 3. And yeah, for a coding camp that is only 1 week, half a day, it is common and it is expected that there are software engineering practices or coding practices that are not 100% professional, 100% perfect. We identify code smells, for example, code duplication, or poor use of variables, etc. But the working product is there, and it's also a good indication that the technical content is in many ways acquired. In terms of process, we foster the use of user stories or system metaphors, or the production of small release and interactions to iterations to make the product better. And as teachers, as facilitators, we promote also the use of agile practices, for example, having quick meetings to see what's the progress, or iterating over a product that was previously released and so on. So they can also see this as a process of enhancing capacity. The methodological approach is observation protocol of both instructors and student tutors, which yields a good chance to gather more information, not only from the perspective of the instructors, but also from peers as a peer-led training. Blending online activities and physical activities would also yield a nice opportunity to keep promoting that. And finding a valid way of collecting background information on participants and associated with additional barriers that depend on background characteristics. Incorporation, games, and fun. As I said, there is this perception that activities that were regarded as fun were important for the value of this activity. Every fun activity should have a takeaway message, and we allot a reflection moment. So to say, we have this game and we learn this, but a deeper purpose on that is this other one, right? So we have also these reflection moments. Remote teamwork and collaboration. The activity was totally distributed, so we had to make sure that everybody should have a similar experience no matter where. Material used should be easy, connection times should be friendly, and social interactions through Teams should also be ensured so that everybody keeps engaged. Enabling technology, collaboration tools, online tools that can be also used anywhere, and on top of that, being aware and being sensitive also to the kind of conditions that can also challenge this experience in different aspects. For example, slow interconnection or slow computer that can also change experience and so on. But after having this experience and after talking to students and after checking our service, the conclusion is that the perception was rather positive. We succeeded in keeping the fun alive and keeping the social interactions alive whilst maintaining a technical journey that promotes in students the acquisition of software engineering techniques. The participants of the online camp, they were able to produce the result. That is also an important sense of accomplishment, that I just don't learn abstract concept, but I managed to produce and ship a software product. Even though it is not targeted by this experience report, we recommend replication of this effort so we can see if it changes from setting to setting or from year to year, and determine quantitatively what is the importance of co-location or remote collaboration in the feeling of the experience that the students have in this activity. So on behalf of my co-authors, I thank you for your attention, and this is our contact information should you want to reach out and keep up this discussion. Thank you very much.